Let's take a simple equation to illustrate the effects of subsidies on market operation, both demand and supply. So here in this equation, quantity demanded equals 600 minus 10p and quantity supplied equals 10p. Now there has been a subsidy, unit subsidy being imposed at 10 rupees, unit subsidy. So what happens to the demand and supply equation? As you can see, generally when we talk about subsidy, it is imposed on the, it is granted for the producers or suppliers, so it affects the supply curve to move it to the right. So when a subsidy is in place, the total amount of money that the producer receives for selling a good is equal to the amount that the consumer actually pays out plus the amount of the subsidy. So we have quantity supplied would be 10p plus 10, because 10 is the unit subsidy, and nothing happens to the quantity demanded, which remains at 600 minus 10p. This is exactly the opposite of tax when we had p minus t. Now here we have p plus s. Now let's try to solve these both equations and try to find out what are the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity for both these equations. So before the subsidy being imposed or being granted, we have quantity supplied equals quantity demanded during equilibrium, and quantity supplied is 10p equals 600 minus 10p, and 10p comes to the left hand side, it is 20p equals 600. So p is 30 rupees. So price at equilibrium would be 30 rupees, and if you substitute here, 10 into 30 would be 300. So quantity supplied at equilibrium would be 300 units. So here if we try to solve, it would be quantity supplied equals to quantity demanded in equilibrium. So we have 10p plus 100, I have expanded the brackets here, equals 600 minus 10p. So if this negative 10p goes to the left hand side, it will becomes 20p equals, and when this goes to right hand side, it becomes minus, so it will be 500. So p would be 25 rupees. So the price that the consumer is actually paying is 25, but the producers are receiving 35 rupees. So here, because the price has increased for the producers, they are going to produce more now. So at equilibrium, the quantity supplied would be, you have to substitute 25 for p, so 25 plus 10 would be 35, 10 into 35 would be 350. As you can see, there are more units being supplied to the market. Now let's try to plot a graph for this example, and let's try to see what are the real effects of subsidies. What happens to the consumer surplus, producer surplus, the overall well-being, and also is there any dead weight loss.